Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am here. Amy is here. Hi, Ames. How are you today?
You know what, Mike? I'm a little disappointed.
Really?
I'm not going to lie.
Disappointed?
Yeah, I am. I'm disappointed right now.
Why? In what?
I was promised fascism.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it. And I'm just a little disappointed is all.
Yeah, I feel you.
What's a girl got to do for a little fascism, huh?
I know. What does it do? Do people that are like this, like, and another thing about this fascist regime, like, are they stuck like mid-scream right now?
Yes.
Like, well, he's still a fascist. Like,
yes.
I don't think anything changes.
No.
By the way, before we get into all that, the reason we are going early, people are probably like, what the fuck? It's 5 o'clock or 5:25. Yeah. See Aiden Hutchinson sitting right there.
Yes. I've got a game to get to.
I know, dude. I gotta be honest with you. I feel so badly about the Lions tonight. Oh. I might bet on them.
Yeah.
I might bet on them and not even like taking the points. Just like, fuck it.
Outright.
Outright. No, screw you. I'm going to bet $50 to win 100. So I might do that tonight on the Lions. That's how badly I feel. And judging by my betting history, I'm like, well, I stink at that. So I'm going to pull the Costanza.
I think you were expecting some words of positivity from me today, Mike, when you
100% I was.
Said that you were bumming out about the game, and I'm like, oh, yeah, the Lions have no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, they have like a 2% chance to win, and they need everything to go right because I got to tell you, their history with the Ravens is not good. I mean, even the teams in we've played them quite a bit recently.
Yeah.
And every game goes horribly.
Yeah, and the closest we got, now that I'm thinking about it, just is the one at Ford Field when Justin Tucker
hit the world's longest field goal.
The world's longest field goal, set an NFL record to walk-off win. It was like, why couldn't he been out sexually assaulting masseuses then? Why wasn't that in his head that game?
Can we start a petition for a review of that game? It shouldn't have ended like. I mean, if he left that game and went and graped a masseuse, then I think we should have a discussion about how that game ended.
I know. And then the other ones. Here's what it is: grass. I hate the Lions on grass.
Yeah.
And I have for many years.
That atmosphere.
There's just something about it. And here's the ironic thing. I despise fake fields. I hate AstroTurf. I hate the new cancer-causing AstroTurf with the shredded tires.
You don't care that it causes cancer.
No, it does. They don't care that it causes cancer.
No, I feel like you don't care that it causes.
No, I don't. But they pretend they care, like, oh, this is about the environment, and it's like, yeah, but you're getting way more injuries to players, and by the way, you're causing huge spikes in cancer because the shredded tires is a poison that's being kicked up and thrown in their faces. Like there was a recent study in Europe about goalies. Like, why are these young men all getting this weird fucking cancer strain? Something like that. I'm obviously butchering the study. And it was like, why are these soccer goalies? And it's because of all the shots that are taken at them, kicking up these rubber poison pellets in their faces, something along those lines, which seems crazy, but it wouldn't surprise me. So that being said, I don't even like watching games on AstroTurf. It just looks bad.
Mike, you are
and I hope
such a wuss about this.
I know. Here's the thing. I fucking hate it. And I can't wait till the Players Association, the next time the Players Union meets and goes, we're banning this shit. This is closing in $1 trillion. So playing on concrete. I dig it. Yeah, broker, baker, no grass, no Astro. No, I think the way it looks, and I think it's the rich people are like, yeah, it's just cheaper to throw this carpet down. Fuck them. Who cares about if there's a few more injuries? And I think the players at some point are going to go, no, we're closing in $1 trillion industry. Put fucking grass in, maintain it, and let's play ball. But that being said, the Lions stink on grass. Huh?
You don't like grass.
I love grass.
But didn't you just say you don't like grass?
I don't like AstroTurf.
Okay, but so you do like grass.
I love grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't like the Lions on grass.
I don't like the Lions on grass, though. I know.
See.
I said this is going to be ironic. And I feel like
we're
they don't
forever slipping on grass. We play like shit on it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like this guy, he's one of my Karen Reed people, but he's a big Ravens fan.
Purple Kool-Aid drinker. Lamar is so fast, you're going to think you were playing on turf. No, this was part 2 of what I was going to say is, and it's not just Lamar, it's running quarterbacks in the AFC. The Lions cannot beat running quarterbacks in the AFC, period. Yeah. End of discussion.
Yeah.
If my go-to is always, look, we'll deal with that when it matters. One game a year in a Super Bowl. That's the only time it matters. Like, let Josh Allen deal with.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick Mahomes is a fraction of what he was. He can't hit a deep ball. He's it's remarkable. I thought really 10 more years. I thought we were going to deal with Patrick Mahomes for 10 more years in this league, and it looks like I don't know. Maybe he'll make a comeback. That looks over. Yeah. Lamar is a problem, and Josh Allen is the single best player on planet Earth. So let them duke it out. Whichever one gets to a Super Bowl. If the Lions, God forbid, could ever get there, I know that's hilarious.
Yeah,
we'll deal with that then.
Don't want to see him until then.
Don't want to worry about him till then.
Yeah, but, and like, why them out of all the AFC teams? Do we have to fucking see them all the time?
Top seeds.
I know, but it's annoying.
I know. Well, stop being good then. you can play
Not
the Dolphins.
Not used to it, Mike.
You can play the Dolphins every year when you suck. Otherwise, they're like, oh, you're one of the good ones. You get to face Lamar. So good luck with that. Yeah. So
honestly,
I don't know if we're playing.
I'm going in with the worst of expectations. I have no hope for the Lions in this game. It was an L on my calendar the second I saw it. But if they win, I will be thrilled. I will be so happy, and I will be unbearable to people like Purple Kool-Aid Drinker on Twitter. So, like, just FYI.
I'm there with you. I what was the game this weekend? There's a handful of them that I would warn people about that you go, that's the easiest money I've ever put it down. And G Money put money on one of those this weekend, and I went, it might have been Thursday. Who was Thursday night? Was that the Bills? And
there was the Bills and the Dolphins.
Bills-Dolphins. And I went, be careful with that. I know, of course, the Bills are going to win by 100. Why wouldn't the Bills win by 100? They're at home playing the fucking Dolphins, arguably the worst team in football. And G was like, I'm going big on this one. And I was like, I don't like that. That's where Vegas cleans up, is on those games. Yeah. So my thought is with the Lions, Ravens, every Lions fan will tell you, like, shit, I don't even want to tune into this one. Yeah. Like, it's just, we know we have history on our side with this. We know what Lamar is. But I don't know, that defense isn't the same this year. I don't know. I might put a small bet on the Lions.
It's going to be a shootout, I think, but I don't know.
Do you?
I feel like our secondary sucks. I just feel some of them are good. But I feel like you can throw on us so fucking easy.
Yeah. Well, when you give a quarterback time, when you let these guys scramble and buy themselves an extra 3 seconds, it's just death. You can't expect those corners to cover. So your D-line needs to be a problem, and you need to contain the edges. That's where Aiden Hutchinson comes into play. That's what, it sucks not having a Aleem McNeil, stuff like that. But if you can contain him, good luck, by the way. I'm just saying, the blueprint, you have to contain him and make his life miserable, make him have to get rid of it. Don't give him extra time, because it's not fair to have a secondary think they can cover these elite receivers for 6 seconds at a pop. That's how you get guys open by 12 yards. No one's around them. So I don't know, but we're diehard. We're in the weeds, and so you've got your jersey on. I'm going to be there. And I'm historically a negative Nancy. I am a pessimist, not an optimist. And so of course, it's already a loss in the, but that's just me. So,
and speaking of losses, Mike, we would be remiss if we didn't mention the complete and utter meltdown, breakdown, worst sports collapse of all time happening with the Detroit Tigers right now.
I know.
I am speechless. I am absolutely speechless at the complete and utter meltdown. It is stunning.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of the Illiches owning the Tigers. They need to sell them because they have not done jack shit with this team. And we all roll the tape. Roll the motherfucking tape. Because I know for sure I said that this team, if you don't add to it, is not going to do well. And like, here we are.
Yeah. It's, by the way, I put a $25 bet on the Tigers to win the World Series. Now, this was when they were in first place by 100 games that I did that months ago. And it paid, I think, $300 or something, my little $25 bet. It was just like, why not? Throw $25 on it and see what happens. And it pays hundreds if they do it. Now, I'm like, I want to get out of this bet. How do I just cash out? They're offering me $8.
Oh my God.
So they're like, nice try bailing on this. We're not even going to give you your $25 back.
I'll never forget, Mike. I made a bet. I don't remember if it was at the beginning of the season that we lost to San Francisco for the NFC. We lost the NFC championship. But I don't know if it was the beginning of the season or the beginning of the playoffs, whatever it was. But I had bet, $100 that we were going to make it to the Super Bowl. And going into that game, it was willing to pay out like $750.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should cash out. And then as the game's going on, it's halftime. And they're damn near paying me out full money at this point. It's like $900. Like, yeah, you guys are going to win, but it was like, oh no, I could win $1,500 if I don't cash it out.
Yeah.
And then as the game continues and the third quarter happens and I look at it and it's like at $100 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I look and it's at like $3.
Dude, G Money had one. Was it last year no, it must have been the year before because the Niners stinked last year. But he put $1,000 on Purdy to win MVP with like weeks to go. Weeks, like halfway through the season. Purdy was looking good. He was like, fuck it, I'm going to throw it on that. And then we got to the Monday night game, and Purdy is running away with the MVP vote. All the people, it's coming down to the bullshit arguments of race on ESPN. Like, can you have a white guy win the, Lamar deserves it. He's black, so they won't vote. Like that kind of bullshit arguments. But G had like 1,000. I think it paid like $6,000 or something like that. I could have my numbers wrong. Don't fact check me, but it was big. I mean, it was a substantial bet. And they offered him before that Monday night game, Niners, Ravens in San Francisco. And I was in San Francisco at that point. I remember going by the stadium and seeing I think it was Monday night game. Monday night cameras, all the trucks, and I was like, "Oh boy, this is a big one." They offered G like $3,000.
Yeah,
like take it or leave it, $3,000 right now. It looks like Purdy's running away with this, so we're willing to give you a couple grand for free. And G was like, "No, I'm going to win $6." And then Monday Night Football happened against Lamar.
We get burnt by greed.
Yeah, burned by greed. I was like, "G, take $2 fucking grand. What are you doing?"
I know. But Mike, you could have $6.
And he's like, "No, I think he's going to have a game, blah, blah, blah." And then he had like 4 picks, all kind of bullshit. If you really look at that game and break it down, it really wasn't Purdy's fault.
Sure, Mike. Sure.
Give Baltimore theirs. No question about it. And I think Lamar went on to win the MVP that year, but nonetheless, that destroyed it. And then it was like, "Oh, we'll give you $50 if you want." After that game, it's like, "We'll give you $50 of your $1,000 bet back." Like, but it's like, take your fucking couple grand if they offer it. Just take it. Don't get greedy.
Right.
So anyway, I had planned Ames today, and we'll get to your news. I know you've got some stuff you have to talk about.
I don't know.
But I had all these stories ready to go. Jimmy Kimmel Live will never return to TV. Jimmy Kimmel likely will never return to the air. A staffer from the show revealed. I want to think it will, but I can't imagine a scenario where in which that happens, even if Jimmy was willing to publicly apologize and donate money to whatever ghoulish conservative group that is demanding it. MAGA people will never be happy. It will never be enough. And Disney will look at the situation and decide it's cheaper to buy out the rest of his contract and replace the show with reruns of Modern Family and Judge Judy. Somehow they'll convince themselves the worst is behind them.
Until a day or two. Said this?
Yeah. They didn't put their name on it, of course. Until a day or two pass and they find themselves having to defend Whoopi Goldberg and the women of The View, and no one wants to be in that position. The staffer was not surprised Top Brass didn't stand up for Kimmel. I had zero faith that any of the network execs had the slightest bit of stones to stand up for their employees. I mean, yeah, I was surprised it happened that specific day, but you could see it coming. Every time some MAGA asshat would spout off about the show, the knot in my stomach got tighter when asked if they thought the Kimmel critics even had a point. Even if I thought that, I would never say it out loud. I would feel as if I was betraying the show. But no, I don't think they had a point. The Trump folks are like that crooked cop who wants to pull over a driver and waits until they make some slight mistake. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Black Eye. You didn't come to complete stop and look both ways at the last stop sign. That's our show. We were always running stop away from unemployment. Good God, these people, they just think they're such heroes, such victims.
That's like a really unhinged perspective, by the way. Like
Does that
super fucking unhinged perspective.
Yeah.
And it's almost private company made a personnel decision.
Yeah.
Jimmy went on a weeks-long vacay, and then that same private company made another personnel decision, and now Jimmy's show is going to be back. And guess what? You can watch it or don't. And then it's up to ABC to continue to be a private company as to whether or not they want to continue on with this show. Because guess what? That's how it works with private companies. And the government didn't have jack shit to do with it. Because if they did, it wouldn't be back on the air.
There's a badge of honor that comes with being fired. And if you've ever worked in public broadcasting, dealt with FCC stuff, people are fired all the time. You say something that the company, they don't want to deal with, calls and complaints and stuff. And if you're not a juggernaut, right? When you're a juggernaut, you can literally get away with murder. They walk in, see you fucking a hooker and doing blow off her tits. They're like, oh, I didn't see that. And they walk out of the room. They don't care. So, but when you do get fired, it's known as being on the beach. If you've ever worked in radio, TV, you're on the beach. And then someone else goes, oh, and everyone that's been controversial in any sort of way has been let go from a private company. We all have. We've all been shit canned. I was fired for free speech violations when my co-host said on the air one morning, our owner had a glass eye. I've talked about this before. He had a glass eye, and Dave went on the air and said, in a huff, I'll rip that glass eye out of his head and whip it down the hallway. And he was fired that afternoon. And it wasn't like...
It turns out you can't say that to your boss.
No, you can't say that on the airwaves about your boss. I mean, you can. No one from the government came and arrested Dave.
Right.
But there were consequences to saying stuff like that on public airwaves. And the boss went, oh, go fuck yourself. You're out of here.
People on X.
And then, by the way, to finish that point, someone in Kalamazoo hired us to come. They put up billboards, Mike and the Beagle, to come. Yeah, we came in Kalamazoo.
Why'd they do that?
We went to Kalamazoo. Bill Walters heard our tape and was like, these guys are
He's like,
funny.
I want to pay you to come.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Gross. But they did pay us to come, and we did. We came.
You did.
We came in together, by the way. We came together.
Hard.
In Kalamazoo. Hard. And we stinked, too. I was 23 years old. Stinked. I stinked. I didn't have no voice. I stinked. But, Bill Walters hired us, and that's just kind of the way it works. You get fired from one, you go to another one, and, so this idea that Jim Kimmel is a martyr, yeah, okay. And by the way, any station in America can decide that Jim Kimmel, if this story were the end of the story, and we'll get to the punchline here in a second, any station in America could be like, oh, yeah, their loss, their junk is our treasure. We'll take Jim Kimmel, and we're going to go clean up with Jim Kimmel.
If you're Jim, why don't you just start your own show? Be your own boss. It's not, you don't need ABC anymore. People know who you are. What the fuck are you even doing?
No.
Like, let me out of my non-compete piece. I'll go start my own shit.
Yeah, and he's got the backing, the staffers, and the wallet to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, this game has always been about young people, the young generation. That's what you want, because those people tend to have loyalty and stick with you. They reminisce about, God, I started listening when I was in high school, and I've been listening for 20 years. Like, that's what you want. And so none of those people are watching ABC. Zero of them.
Yeah.
There's not a kid in America who's waking up like they would with Letterman and watching Jim Kimmel.
Right.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
So cousin Sal was like, oh, I wish I could say something. The dust hasn't settled on this. Everything's going to be fine. But he implied that there were bombshells still to come. Bombshells. He said that on a podcast. I think one of their other cousins. And this bombshell that he was alluding to, by the way, if that was that the FCC or Donald Trump behind the scenes demanded that you pull these people off the air, and that's why ABC did it, I would argue against that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's at all what happened.
Well, obviously fucking not. He was off for a week. He literally went on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, Donald Trump sucks at fascism, if that was the fucking goal. Okay.
So do you want to break the news that just was released a couple hours ago or an hour ago?
Yeah. The show's coming back. Of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Walt Disney issued the following statement. And I'm searching for the word FCC or government, and I've yet to find it, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Last Wednesday, this is from the Walt Disney Company. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Anywhere in there did they say, and then we contacted the FCC to see if that was okay?
Yeah.
And to get their permission because, Donald Trump is a fascist and he made us take the show off the air I don't see that anywhere in this statement.
And the fact is, these people have, for the last 10 years, taken tremendous pride in pushing back constantly on Donald Trump. Donald Trump speaks in a candor, in a way that is easy to pick apart. It's who he is. And so these people we will not stand by as fascism tries to come through. Like, they've done all of that. They've stood up. And then a lot of this stuff fizzles, or you find out that it's met in court and it doesn't meet a sort of legal standard to where he could really do anything. The FCC doesn't have that kind of power. Neither does the president. So I think this is fantastic news that Kimmel is coming back on the air. I think it's fantastic news because what was happening is you were making a martyr out of someone who wasn't a martyr. There's only one martyr in this story, and that was Charlie Kirk, who was senselessly murdered, trying to extend olive branches to anyone who would have him and talk things through. Jim Kimmel is not a martyr. The FC, they were, the fact is his ratings were garbage. They always were. So you want to bring Jim Kimmel back? And here's my prediction. They don't re-up his deal in 2026. There's, it's one thing to go to bat for Howard Stern when you're generating $100 million in profit off the back of him. It's worth paying $3 million in fines over the years for FCC violations. We'll see you in court, sir. And then, we need to make a deal because there's a merger. Okay, well, that just means both sides get together and they decide to come to a conclusion so we can move forward with this. That's the way these media companies operate. So it was giving cover to the Colberts of the world, the Jim Kimmels of the world that, hey, it's just free speech they're attacking us for. We're obviously beloved in this space. We deserve to be in this space. We dominate. And no, you don't. You don't. And I can't wait for all these people that wouldn't shut the fuck up over the last week going to bat for Jim Kimmel to not tune into his show once again. That's what's going to happen.
They'll tune in on Tuesday to see what he has to say, which I guarantee and promise you, Disney has said something along the lines of, you better watch what you fucking say.
Yeah.
What you're not going to do is go out there and flame the flames that we gave you a timeout to,
Yeah. I had heard that.
And
that they had looked at his monologue for that Tuesday night and went, dude, not only was he doubling down, he was going harder. And ABC execs looked at that and went, dude, we can't have you go on the air right now and do this monologue. And Jim Kimmel thought, go fuck yourself. I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that's fine for Jim Kimmel to do on a podcast. That is not fine to do on someone else's airwaves. It's just not. And I would defend to the death Jim Kimmel's ability to do that, to go on any podcast he wants and spew whatever garbage he wants. That he can do that.
And I mean, I don't necessarily want to see people lose their jobs for what they say. I have zero problem with them suspending production to let things cool down.
Yeah.
That was a necessity after what he said. I mean, you have to be responsible about the situation, and you have to just be like, you know what? Fine. You're going to go in a timeout for a week, and we'll be back in a week and whatever. But there just has to be some responsibility across the board here. And, I commend them for doing that. I did not want to see him fired. I didn't think he was honestly going to be fired. I figured that they would have him back. They probably won't renew him. Because, I mean, what a nightmare to fire him right now. Then they're going to be in lawsuits and shit. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But all they did was take a week off. And, I mean, people on X right now are like, free speech has been restored, as if Jimmy Kimmel just got bonded out of fucking jail.
Yeah.
Like, Jimmy Kimmel was on the beach for the last week. What do you even mean? And the people who were comparing him to Charlie's still dead.
Yeah.
And Jimmy has his show back. So, they're not the same. He's not your martyr.
No. And you're still not going to tune in. But I think you're 100% right that you will have all these people tune in Tuesday night, and then that'll slowly trickle out through the week. But he'll probably get massive numbers on Tuesday because we'll all tune in to see, is he going to push it further? And Jimmy will. Jimmy, my guess is, will push it further tomorrow night. That now that funerals have happened and memorials and there's been a week of whatever, my guess is Jimmy's not going to back down and take the night off. I just don't think it'll
but I mean, I don't think
he's
going to go out there. It would behoove him to not go out and, try to incite any kind of, even if it's mildly incite violence against the other side, or try to blame, us for
incite
what happened.
Violence. Hilarious.
I didn't see what AOC said. Mike sent in a super chat that said, how about AOC and her genius comments? We all got dumber having to listen to her speak, which is fact.
She might
get dumber, but I don't think I heard her comment.
I think I did. I don't have it. I think she was on CNN. The other, Ilhan Omar, too.
I saw hers. She is just such a a-hole.
We need
and
to do
let
something.
Me tell you.
We need to do something in this country where I don't know how, and I don't know what the legalities are. I do not like some fucking Somali whatever in our Congress.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like She is on record talking about how she can't wait to go home to her homeland. Everything she does is for Allah and Somalia. Like, fuck all the way off. I'm sorry.
I made a comment on her post about her being married to her brother, which by all accounts is true. Let me just read to you some of the comments I got back from her followers. Provide the proof. Till then, Nazi Barbie is an inbred cunt. Shut up, cousin fucker cracker. Why are you lying? Is it because your mother used to be a whore and your father cucked your mother for money to be able to pay for your shitty diapers every day?
No, that's good.
Let me be perfectly clear. You have Trump's sperm dripping from your lips, only to be backed up by your brother's cum. Joke's on her. I don't know the brother.
It's too bad. It's a good one, though. It's a good one. You got to admit, that one hits hard. That's a good one.
Yeah, really hits hard. And then this one really takes the cake. We've reported you for child abuse, for raping children. Everyone knows. Said that to me.
That's a pretty good one, too. So, got ya.
That is what's happening over on Ilhan Omar's X page. Yeah. Super stable people.
Super stable. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome.
Yes, I did see the mayor of Dearborn's comments. I mean, I said that my mother-in-law lives in Dearborn, and I was like, don't make me roll up to a fucking Dearborn meeting. Do not make me, because I will.
Is that where the guy said, you're not welcome here, to the Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, you're not welcome here, and the day you leave, I will throw a parade through the street to celebrate you no longer being here. Because he's not Muslim.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's wild. And the guy was getting up there and saying, I don't want this street named after a fucking terrorist.
What a monster.
It's like not a controversial take.
In America.
Imagine having like a Saddam Hussein Boulevard and then being told you're not welcome in your city because you're like, I don't know. I've got a little bit of a problem with that.
No, Dearborn, it's it's been for a while. The rest of the country doesn't know what's going on in Dearborn.
No, they
Michigan.
don't.
They have no fucking clue what's going on.
Listen, Dearborn has good.
Of course,
truly, there are very good people that live in Dearborn. I've got family in Dearborn, but I mean, it is.
I had a back guy in Dearborn. He was amazing. He was unbelievable. This chiropractor, chiropractor that I would go see in Dearborn. Fantastic. Sure. Yeah.
But it is a Muslim area.
No.
Very Muslim. And yeah. Hamtramck, I feel like, is the same.
Yeah, my whole life it was just Polacks. That was Hamtramck. All Polacks.
Yeah, right.
Not anymore.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
All gone.
Mike, how much of the Charlie Kirk?
You know what? I wanted to mention one more thing about Jimmy Kimmel, and then we'll get into the Charlie Kirk thing, because I watched a couple hours of it, and then I got screwed, and I'll tell you how. But this report came out. Should be no surprise to you, but this is where I think the FCC, when Brendan Carr from the FCC is talking about, we need to look into some stuff. There could be something there. And I've talked before about, what you're agreeing to when you have an FCC license. And I'm certainly no expert, but I did in the early years when I first came back to Riff after an internship there, a year earlier, I worked with Trudy in the news department for about 6 months. And I remember how she compiled news and how she delivered it and what responsibilities came with that. Being a licensed broadcast tower in Metro Detroit, there's certain rules and laws you need to abide by. And you need to also, if called to the mat, be able to prove that you are giving something in the public interest. And so that can be that you can argue what that looks like. And so Trudy would do Trudy News 3-4 times a day, once an hour for a few minutes. And she would keep all of her stories that she did. She would keep a snippet of it as like a record and then file those away for years. And she could always point to in the 9 o'clock news hour, I did this story about a local charity event going on this weekend in Hamtramck. And that was my public interest, and it's like, okay, I did my obligation to, the FCC gods, if you will. I have done my part, so there's stuff like that. And so this story here, Jimmy Kimmel hosted one Republican guest on his talk show over the last 4 years. One. Right. While making sure nearly all of his jokes landed at the expense of conservatives. This is a new survey says this. The portion of Kimmel's jokes targeting conservatives went from 88% in 2023 to 97% this year. He made 1,128 jokes targeted at Trump in 2025, far more than anyone else. His next two favorite targets, Elon Musk and Pete Hegseth. By comparison, Joe Biden led all Dems. He managed to be the punchline 26 times. Think about that for a second. We watched Joe Biden walk around this country, sort of, the last 4 years. 26 jokes at Biden's expense. Since returning, he spent 90 minutes of his monologue. This is from his vacation, September 2nd, right before he got booted. 90 minutes of his monologue time over 9 episodes railing against Trump. His lone GOP guest in 4 years. Do you know who that was?
Who? Oh, yeah, I do. Liz Cheney.
That was Colbert.
Oh,
that was Colbert's show.
Oh, fuck. Who was another?
I'll give you one guess.
Oh, Mike Lindell.
Remember when he put Mike Lindell into the claw machine?
I do.
Yeah. So, and by the way, promo code TDC. Thank you. I see it every time they send me a report. Every time you guys buy something, they give me a portion of the proceeds. So anything you buy at MyPillow, the new energy drink I thought was really good. Pillows, sheets, Giza sheets, all of that stuff. Just use promo code TDC. And we appreciate it. So, he appeared in 2023, but only after agreeing to spend the entire interview inside the arcade claw machine game because he wasn't vaccinated. Kimmel said he insisted Lindell be in the claw machine because it's hilarious. Of all the colorful, unhinged characters who've come to prominence in the political era of Donald Trump, our next guest is probably the most enthusiastic. To help him conquer his debilitating fear of machines, we've installed him inside a claw machine for his interview tonight. So if you look at this report, left-leaning guest list of late night shows, Stephen Colbert, 176 Democrats, 1 conservative. And again, that was Liz Cheney. Jon Stewart, 157 to 9, far and away the most conservative guest, 9. Seth Meyers, 68 Democrats, 0 conservatives. Jimmy Fallon, 41 to 2. Trevor Noah, 7 to 0. He was running The Daily Show, a political show. 0. Mm-hmm. James Corden, 4 to 0. So 511 to 14. So
wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy. And I don't know. I don't know what technically the equal time laws are. It is, it does matter.
Well, that was why what's-its-face got in trouble right before the election for the Kamala interview.
Colbert?
They released
60 minutes.
Didn't they?
60 minutes, yeah.
60 minutes for the Kamala interview, the day before an election. And it was either you give Trump equal time or you pay a fee, because you pay a fine, because he's so close to an election like that, or during an election, you have to give them equal time or whatever, or within a certain amount of time of an election. Like that.
And we've just never, not in my lifetime, seen this push to this level of this is so obnoxious and absurd. You are simply a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party at this point. There's no denying that. You might actually be a fan of that. You might think that's great. It's not, but you might really believe that. But you wouldn't like that if the reality was all the late night, what you deem pop culture, what you think is, society, like the norm, to have it that weighted. If it was just, every one of the late night shows only hosted Trump and Trump's minions every night for years and years and years, that was the only message that got out there. Like, if you're being an honest with yourself person, liberal, you wouldn't think that was great. Conservatives, honestly, at this point have kind of given up. They're so used to it from their magazines that no one reads anymore. Their newspapers, no one's really reading anymore. Their TV shows, not many people are watching anymore. And their late night shows that people aren't watching. So they're fucked because it doesn't matter. That's why I'm thrilled. Bring Jimmy back. No one was watching to begin with. Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, they can't figure out why no one's watching, but I could walk into a room of their executives and put those numbers you just gave me in front of them and say, this is why no one's watching. If you even evened this out remotely, if it was even remotely close to 50-50, your numbers would go up. If this would never happen, but this is a hypothetical. If you somehow convinced Joe Rogan to come do your nightly show a few days a week, people would watch. If you could convince Dave Portnoy to come do your nightly show in place of who he's funny and he sees shit from both sides and he'll talk to anybody, people would watch. But when you put out these fucking puppets who do vaccine dances during COVID, like, you actually wonder why no one's watching. But you know what? They don't have any diversity of thought in those boardrooms. No. They don't have anyone in those boardrooms. Hey, I've got a crazy thought. Have we ever thought about maybe like targeting the other half of the country and seeing if our numbers rise? Is that on the board at all? No. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Crazy idea. Radical thought. Yeah. Like, how stupid can you fucking be with those statistics glaring you in the face and still have the nerve, the gall to go, can't believe no one's watching.
Don't you think, Charlie Kirk is a perfect example of this. Charlie Kirk started himself at 16 years old, whatever he was, and built what is proving to be an empire that is probably going to hang around for a while. Those videos that him debating liberals and having open debate on university campuses all over the world, you couldn't deny it. What was going on? You don't think there's something interesting or fascinating about the one person on earth who was doing that, going into the lion's den? You don't think Jimmy Kimmel would have any interest in going, what's going on these college campuses? Right. Holy shit. I've been watching your videos, and let Charlie explain what's going. Really? Colbert? Right. No interest in that. No. It's in the realm of what you're talking about nightly.
That would have normalized him, Mike. That would have normalized him. That would have given him a quote unquote platform. And then if he was normalized, Mike, and if he was platformed by the mainstream, people would have seen that he's not a bad person and he'd probably be here today. So, they want us to, and it's also, it's something that they do as a form of, I noticed this when I started to awaken to how insanely, the propaganda from the news, like, they will not report on something purposefully so that when you try to argue the point, all someone has to say is, oh, where'd you find that? Fox News? Yeah. Because if you can't source it to CNN or MSNBC, they don't want to hear it. And so it's purposeful that they don't cover those stories. It's purposeful that they don't cover Charlie Kirk, because if they do, then he's not all of a sudden a fascist radical. People would have seen how fucking normal he was. Yeah. Yeah. No, there is no doubt. And when you get to this level that we have where, reports on universities are, 10-1 liberal professors versus conservative. Yeah. And it's probably worse than that. It's probably way worse than that. But those are I think you're looking it up. But that's not how you get
true diversity of thought at all. And that's what we're dealing with on TV. When you talk about numbers like that, 176 to 1, like that's not diversity of thought that Jim Kimmel is doing on a nightly basis. And it's disingenuous. And you're so right also, Amy, about Charlie Kirk. The danger in a Charlie Kirk is normalizing him and going to have people go, he's not that bad. And I know this is true because lately, who's it? Bill Maher. Bill Maher has kind of dipped his toe. You never know with that guy.
But he had Charlie on the show.
Yeah, he had him on his podcast, not on his.
His podcast. Yeah.
He may have had him at some point. I don't know. But this weekend, he had Tom Homan on. The Borders are. Okay, and Tom Homan is as vilified as anybody. My brother watches Bill Maher every week, every Friday, and he loves Bill's talking points and all that kind of shit. And Bill can be right in a lot of things. A lot of the culture war stuff, Bill is seeing through what's going on. He's still a liberal dipshit across the board on so many things. But he had Tom Homan on, and it wasn't just an adversarial, why would you do this? Do you hate people that don't look like you? Like, it wasn't one of those. It was like, what's going on? Why did the left, we can be honest about this, the left open the border, let all these people in? Why would they do that? And Tom laid out his thoughts on why and blah, blah, blah. And it was a nice 10-minute conversation about what's going on at the border. And what it did, my brother texted me and went, this Tom Homan guy makes a lot of sense. He seems to, he was well-spoken and he knew his stuff. And I was like, yeah, he's known his stuff for years, motherfucker. Yeah. You just aren't aware of it.
Yeah, and because they exclusively watch liberal sources.
Yeah. Like, dude, Tom Homan didn't just wake up on Friday, go into that studio and make sense.
Right.
He's been making sense while he was vilified without mercy on every liberal media outlet in America. And, I want to be clear, good for you, Bill Maher, for having him on and not doing a CNN hit piece where you're just trying to get into an argument for TikTok views. Yeah. Like, no, he had a real conversation with him, and that's great.
When are we going to get to a point where we have to stop giving liberals credit for being fucking basic human beings?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, let's give them credit for daring to talk to the other side. Like, what? You don't deserve credit for that.
You know why we do that? Because it's been so pathetic for so long that even a crumb of humanity, and you go, I got to give them credit for that. Here's the fact.
Wow, they didn't shoot us dead. Let's give them credit for that. They had a conversation instead of fucking shooting us in the neck. Wow, they're so nice.
Yeah. Wow, they didn't shoot up his TV studio? Wow, good for them. Yeah. Oh, they didn't burn half their city down? Well, good for them. That's progress, I suppose. That's great.
Someone on Twitter just asked me to provide proof that cities burned after George Floyd.
Dude, okay, in fairness to that severely retarded individual. By the way, feel free to let him know there were billions of dollars in insurance claims because of property damage. There were dozens, and I said dozens plurally, of deaths, murders because of that. But if you watched that stuff, if you were just like an MSNBC, CNN, New York Times person, you maybe got a brief headline, and we joked about it like, fiery but peaceful protests. That was in response to George Floyd, I believe. That was the headline on CNN. They actually
said that while shit was burning behind them.
Behind them.
It was like so crazy.
Insanity. Fiery but peaceful. There was a gasoline spill behind us, and so it is a bit fiery but peaceful. But if they never saw any of that
behind us.
And if they've just written off Fox News, or where'd you hear that? Faux news. If they're just doing that, and the fact is, I don't watch Fox News for my news. I'm sure you don't either.
No, I don't. I hate when my mom says that to me. I'm like, Mom, I haven't watched Fox News since Tucker left.
Yeah.
I literally haven't. I do not watch Fox News for my news.
There's a couple times I've, especially when it's not football season and there's not other stuff to watch, when I'm in that dead zone, when it's like, oh my God.
I'll admit I turned them on to listen to Charlie Kirk news.
See, I didn't even do that. And I probably would have enjoyed that. I will sometimes turn on the 5. Sometimes I will turn on the 5. And I meant to this week. I wanted to see what that idiot Jessica Tarlov was going to say. But I didn't. I didn't tune into any of it. There's just too much. There's way better sourcing and way better stuff online. Yeah. And the fact is, what's been going on for the last decade has exploded in popularity. And this is where the Jim Kimmels, excuse me, and the Steve Colberts of the world have missed out. I'm sorry. You should have Tim Pool on your show. You should have had Charlie Kirk on your show. Steven Crowder, prick that he may be, has earned that to be brought up into what they think is the mainstream. The fact that 60 Minutes isn't doing a fucking 2-part episode on Joe Rogan and what he's doing tells you everything you need to know. Mm-hmm. Like, someone in the cultural zeitgeist that Joe Rogan is, or Steven Crowder is, or Tim Pool is becoming, like, those people the nation should be told through the lens of 60 Minutes. But they're not, and they won't be anytime soon. So those people have just said, fuck them. We'll do an election show, and we'll beat the shit out of your ratings.
Yeah. I mean,
and so people like you and I are going, all right.
Shouldn't be any question to people why. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be a question for them as to why their ratings suck. Like, it just shouldn't. But anyway,
exactly.
Mike, it's 50 minutes in. We haven't talked about Charlie's thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Enough of Kimmel. Enough.
Yeah. No, well, I'm talking about a lot deeper stuff than just Jim Kimmel.
I know. I'm just kidding.
It's cultural. It's all cultural shit. But yes, I did sort of watch the thing. And it happened right down, 20 minutes down the road from me.
Why did you sort of watch?
Well, so I woke up late, and so it started really early here, and so right, because I'm 3 hours earlier than you. So I started to watch it, and then it was like, fuck, my Niners were coming on, and me and G were going to watch the Niner game, and so I'm like, okay, I'll just make sure I'm.
Oh yeah, and you can't multitask.
No, I can't multitask at all. Are you kidding me, dude? I watch every snap. Don't do that. So I recorded it, and so I watched that game. Then I watched the late game because I put money on it like an asshole, and lost. So I laid down last night. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this Charlie Kirk tribute thing, try and fast forward through it and watch it. And I get through a lot of it, and some people I liked, some people, I mean, they were all fine. And then I got to Erica Kirk, and I get, 4 minutes into her speech. And then Trump is the big one. He's closing it out, right? Wasn't he? Mm-hmm. 4 minutes into, like, they had a slotted amount of time, record time for that. And then they just went, look, and it just died. And so I never saw a word of Trump's, and I never saw however long.
Mike, it's,
I was laying in bed. I know. I was going to bed.
Do you have like an iPad?
Yeah, I do, but it was in the next room.
Okay. You have YouTube?
I do, but it was on my phone, and then I got to wear glasses in bed. I was just like, ugh.
Sure. It's a lot of excuses happening, not any good ones.
Fine.
But it's fine.
Here, I'll pull up.
You only missed the 2 best ones, although I got to tell you, we were texting in the Rich and Peasants group chat of like Trump. We need to write. Someone needs to give Trump the wrap it up sign. Erica should have been the last one to
totally
speak,
agree. That's just so disrespectful.
And I have to imagine she probably wanted Trump to speak last. I imagine she ultimately made the decision of like paying reverence to him and having him speak last. But I just think it should have been.
Yeah.
Especially given like he did his Trump thing and he went off on tangents. Yeah. And at some point he's like talking about tariffs. And I'm just like, I don't know. This is Charlie's like memorial.
It's Charlie's memorial. Look, I watched a couple minutes. Yeah. Here, I'll play. And I was just kind of buzzing through this before we started. And I was just like, oh, God.
To us. And Charlie understood that. He saw the money. He saw what was coming into our country. And we can use that for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all of these things that we fight so hard for. And that's exactly what's happening. The numbers are incredible. When the news finally came out on election night last November that the race was officially won, came out pretty early in the night. Charlie was live on camera In that moment, he was overcome with emotion. I've never seen him like this. He was so happy. For a long while, he said nothing. His eyes were filled with tears, and then he buried his face in his hands, and he started crying. That wasn't the Charlie I knew, but in thinking about it, it actually was the Charlie I knew, because he had a tremendous heart. He just wanted what was good for our country, and he saw us going in such a horrible direction. Lovingly, Eric. And this was so beautiful. Eric put a MAGA hat on to cover his bowed head. I like that very much, MAGA.
It's all about him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
I mean, I understand the Charlie story, but like that wasn't even the worst
I
part.
bet.
That he wasn't even the worst one of it. Like at certain points, it's like, I think he realized he would get off on these tangents, and that like he'd be talking about, tariffs, and he'd be like, Charlie was a big supporter of tariffs. And it's like, he wasn't talking about Charlie, and then he'd try to like bring it back to Charlie. But I was.
If you think about it, and it's just not gonna happen with this guy.
Yeah.
With Donald Trump.
No.
Not.
Like, he's hilarious. And whatever.
He is, and you and I can look at that and roll our eyes a little bit, and it doesn't ruin our life. It doesn't prove democracy's on the line. Like, we're not gonna melt down over it. Yeah. It's just unfortunate. I do believe Donald Trump does not win the presidency if not for the groundwork and all the fucking legwork that Charlie Kirk personally did leading up to November of this last year. It was
the difference between 2016, 2020, and 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, it was he was the big difference. He got a whole generation of young people to feel like it was okay to be conservative again.
It was cool.
Be conservative on college campuses. And, I saw I see a lot of people say this, but like, oh, Charlie just had to debate college, quote unquote, kids.
So
and it's
lazy.
like, first of all, college, quote unquote, kids are adults. Just like FYI. And that is where you're supposed to learn how to critically think. You're supposed to learn how to think about a problem and articulate your response and your position. And Charlie challenged every single quote unquote kid that he talked to more than all of his professors combined. All of their professors combined. Like, that is who you're supposed to debate with before they're set in their ways. And, all they've been doing is listening to talking points, and they have no substance to their position. Those are the people that you want to debate with.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The lack of lack of debating, Charlie would, if you watched him, which none of these people that hate him and think he's the Antichrist, they've never seen a sentence come out of Charlie's mouth. I think that's the most offensive part. There were many, many times that I saw him because kids would bring that up, like, oh, do you think it's fair for you to come here and debate, us? I'm an incoming freshman, and do you think that's fair? And he would often talk about, like, why don't you go grab 5 of your professors, their PhDs, tell them to bring whatever notes and whatever they want, whatever reference points they want, and have them come down here and debate me. I don't have any notes. I don't have any I don't have any people. I don't have an earpiece in my ear. What's that?
It's not like he was some rogue scholar. Like, he didn't go to college.
No, he took a gap year and never went back. So that's the part where it's like, well, do you think he didn't debate as much as you would like some of these scholars and some PhDs? Like, he made the offer many times. He also would have gone, guess what, on Jimmy Kimmel's show or Stephen Colbert's show. He would have done all of that. He did go to Cambridge. He did debate half the fucking professors there and the students who thought they knew everything. He did do Jubilee and 25 liberals versus Charlie Kirk. Like, he wasn't afraid to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so this idea, like, oh, he could only pick, like that makes it like they're trying to further a narrative like Charlie Kirk was a bully.
Yeah.
Like, he went to places to bully people.
Yeah.
First
like
off,
he was at elementary schools or something.
Right. Or like the universities, as part of freshman orientation, lined you up to get your ass handed to you by this bully. Like, no, you went up there and went to a microphone.
Thinking you knew how to articulate your position. And then you quickly realized you don't know how.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched the entire thing. I even watched the hours because I can multitask. And so I had football on my TV and then I was watching it on my iPad.
I hate you people the most. I hate you people the most. The most. It's not even close. You multitaskers. Because I don't think you're as good at it as you think you are. I think you miss a lot. There's a lot in the details that you miss.
Pause. I would like to harken back to an episode last week when I think I mentioned something along the lines of, hey, I heard in a press conference just in passing that Erica Kirk was not at the event.
You did hear that.
And I did hear that because she wasn't at the event.
I have heard still from everybody that she was.
I read her interview with the New York Times and she details where she was, and she was supposed to be there with him, but her mom had surgery. So she stayed back and she was going to join him at the next stop, which I think was in Colorado. So she was told at the hospital with her mom about the shooting, and she found out in the air on an airplane on her way to Utah that he died. So
really?
That's her, Erica, in her New York Times interview.
New York Times, fake news.
So
fake news.
I was just so you know, I was multitasking that press conference. I might have even, I was working, I was watching something on TV, and I was watching this on my iPad. So, I had a lot of things going on, and I still caught that. So
okay, you're the one that can do it. You're the one genius who can multitask a little bit.
I know. And no, but in any event, first of all.
By the way, after you said that, for 4 days in a row, I heard one of the main talking points was in front of Charlie's family, his wife and children. They were still saying that for days. And I didn't hear anybody reporting. By the way, for the record, his wife wasn't there. His two children were not there. Thank God. I never heard anybody pause and say that. So I didn't think you were wrong or lying. Yeah. I know you well enough to know that you're not just going to say something like that. They're still saying that in front of his wife and kids. That's a big talking point.
He died on video. It's on the internet. So technically, I think that's a fair statement. He was murdered in front of the entire world, and that includes him. So I got to give all the credit in the world to Turning Point. They put on a phenomenal event in such a short period of time, which apparently, if you listen to conspiracy theories, means that they were in on it, and they've been planning this for a lot longer than 9 days. No sound issues, no tech issues, no security issues. Everything just went off
they tried
without a hitch. No, but it didn't happen. So that's the thing. It was just the whole event went off perfectly. And
did you see people posting pictures of as people are coming into the stadium early? And half empty stadium, and then posting like it was a disaster. No one showed up. I'm just like,
and it was of course sold out. They even had a overflow stadium with 20,000 plus people, and it was streamed hundreds of millions of times across the globe, and it was very powerful. It was very, I would say it was repetitive and in certain areas. A lot of the people said a lot of the same things, but I think you just got to put it in context. All of these people were of some importance to Charlie, and so that's just how funerals go. The more important you are, the more people are going to want to speak, and so that's just kind of how it goes.
I wish I was kind, not offended, but Trump at the end, what I've seen, and again, I didn't see the whole thing. And I truly, as much as I think he's the most consequential president we've had, I don't even know in how long. I really struggle to watch Trump speak. It gives me chill. It's cringy as fuck for all the people that are like, you're the cult. It's like, no, dude, I haven't watched a Trump rally or speech in years because it's so like he's the same guy he was in the 80s. It's all about him. His ego is out of control. He's unfortunately, he, for whatever reason, is the right guy for this time. He just is. And he doesn't give a shit. But that also comes with a downside, which is he can be at a memorial for someone like Charlie Kirk, who did as much as he did for Donald Trump personally, and can still go off on a tangent about tariffs. And you're just like, dude, this is the one afternoon where it's not about you, sir. It is not about you at all. You should be telling beautiful stories behind the scenes of meeting his family. And
dude's
like,
not going to change for one day. That's insane. Donald Trump is who he is. And that's why people voted for him. The whole thing wasn't cringy. I personally thought it was really funny when he was like, Charlie didn't hate his enemies, but I do. Like, I don't want good for my enemies, but he did.
And they're not, and you could tell the way he said that. Yeah. They had told him before, like, let's keep this in Charlie. Yeah. This is in Charlie's memory. He would never want you to. And he's like, but he was like muttering under his breath.
It's like, maybe Erica can convince me otherwise.
That was funny. And if you just take him a little more lighthearted, if you take Trump a little more less, that's what you have to do.
And Erica, the guy's only got a few more years left in office. Like, just fucking suck it up and deal with it. And know that Charlie knew who Donald Trump was, and nothing that happened last night that Donald Trump said or did would have offended Charlie in the least bit. That is who Donald Trump is. That's what Charlie would have expected of him. And,
this is,
it was the whole thing overall was very well.
Yeah. And I understand why there were so many of them, so many of the speeches I saw. So I did see a lot of the ones leading up, and they, each getting like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whether it's Don Jr. or Ben Carson. Yeah, his was funny doing his an imitation of his dad.
Don was, Donald Trump was funny. So like Donald Trump as a dad or a grandpa just like is weird to think about.
I know.
Like imagine Donald Trump calling you up and like saying dad things.
Yeah. I know. You're going too far, son.
Yeah,
you're
going too far, son. Yeah, exactly.
But all of them getting their 5 minutes, and there's an overwhelming message that I kind of take issue with. We'll see. Again, I'm more of a pessimist than an optimist, as shitty as that is. I need a lot more Jesus in my life. I do. There's no question about it. And one thing this Charlie Kirk thing has done has made a lot of people really think about opening their Bibles for the first time in a long time. And yours truly is one of them. I haven't done it yet, but there is something bigger than all of us that went on there. All of those people had a message of, you think you can cut the head off a snake or you think you can silence Charlie. You have no idea what you've started. And while there's some truth to that, I also feel like I mean it when I say Charlie Kirk was one of one. Yeah. In that I've never seen anyone on the left or the right, and that includes Ben Shapiro, that includes Steven Crowder. I've never seen anyone like Charlie Kirk. And so to act like a week after, like, there's people in the wings. Yeah, no, there's not. No, there's not. There's not people in the wings. I don't believe that. I believe Charlie Kirk was 31. Imagine where that fucking guy would have been in the next 40 years. Yeah. Imagine where that guy would have gone with like no baggage behind him. Like you need to take him fully out of context to fake create baggage. That ain't going to work. Mm-hmm. That ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And so you sent me a meme of their upcoming lineup. Like this continues in Charlie's name.
They're still doing the tour.
And I look at it, I almost wish they would take a pause and really get a game plan together, because I don't think it's going to be as easy as you think to just replace Charlie Kirk. I just don't. I don't think the kids are going to resonate. And again, this is the pessimist in me. And I think this is why. Yeah, but you have to take
advantage of the moment, Mike, because if you don't, I mean, so many people are looking for guidance. They're looking for, conservative voices to come and talk to them. Like, you have a ton of people who are a captive audience right now. And if you just go, oh, well, we can't replace Charlie, so guess we're not going to even try. That's not the way, because then it's all for nothing. You have to send in conservative voices in his place and recognize that, it's not going to be the same.
I understand that. But one thing I know about young people is they're not going to do something that's in their best interest or because it's the right thing to do. Something needs to grab them. Something needs to get a hold of them that they believe in themselves. It can't be because their mommy in their day told them to, or their stupid uncle told them, you should listen to this guy. That's not what they want to hear. And Charlie started at their age and then and got them organically and carried them. And they fucking formed an army behind him. Army behind him. You cannot just throw Rob Schneider in there and be like, use the talking points Charlie did. That's not the connection. And I don't know that you can do it with Tulsi Gabbard or take
so what's the solution, Mike?
This is a fucking problem.
This is the solution. This is what you literally have to do. And you have no idea. You just said yourself, he created an army. You have no idea whether or not there's someone that's just as capable in that army as Charlie Kirk. In fact, I saw someone today. He's presumably like the next up and coming.
What's
Charlie
up, America? Common Sense has.
Yeah.
His name's Brylan Hollyhand.
Yeah. I have no idea. I've never watched him.
Me either. This is what it's going to take, but this is years from.
Yeah, and that's Mike. Why you have to put in the Megyn Kellys and the Michael Knowles and the Ben Shapiros in the meantime, because otherwise you leave them to be indoctrinated by universities. The goal is to get them in the room and listen to the ideas and have them, absorb the conservative ideas and principles. And it's granted, coming from a different messenger, it's going to be in a different format, but people are still going to want to be part of the Turning Point tour that continued on regardless of Charlie dying. People are still going to show up, even if it's Michael Knowles or Megyn Kelly or Rob Schneider. They're still going to show up because it was Charlie Kirk's tour. It's still a thing. So they still have to continue to do it while guys like this in the wings are, coming up.
Yeah. You might be right. Again, I openly stated I'm a pessimist. I'm not an optimist. So I look at it and I go, you can't create that overnight. I think Steven Crowder, if I'm going to give credit, Steven Crowder was doing a very good job with Change My Mind. Yeah. He really was. He wasn't being a dick. He wasn't being the kind of guy he can be on the Steven Crowder.
He was more dickish than he was more dickish than Charlie for sure.
He was, but he was also he wasn't really an asshole to people's faces, though. I'm trying to think. It's been a few years since he did it. But, he could talk to a trans person and really go through it. Not, no one was going to do it like Charlie. No one.
He was more dismissive. Crowder just has a more dismissive tone. It kind of sounds like he's talking down to you, whereas Charlie had more of a compassionate tone to his voice and a little bit more. He could get frustrated, but I think
this kid, by the way, that we just showed a little tiny snippet of there, Brylan Hollyhand, he started in 4th grade.
Wow.
Just like Charlie. And Charlie Kirk did his show when he was in 4th grade or something like that,
nice.
Years ago. And he's 19 now. He's a student at Auburn. And he's dubbed the internet's youngest voice of reason. He started in 2018 as a 4th grader. Since then, he's gotten 500,000 followers on social media, and he's going on a tour sponsored by Turning Point. They identified him early. He's the co-chair of the Republican National Committee's Youth Advisory Council, named that in 23, and he's kicking off a 10-stop tour of universities across the country. It's announced as the One Conversation at a Time tour, which is being sponsored by Turning Point. He acknowledged, though, the threats against him have more than tripled since Kirk's death. Yeah. I feel like I'm living a completely different life than I woke up in. A few Wednesdays ago before he passed, my threat level has tripled. He's got security now taking him to classrooms at Auburn.
Wow.
So this is a kid who believes in, having civil discussion like Charlie did, and he has security taking him to his classes at Auburn.
Yep. But Jimmy Kimmel's
the victim.
Mike.
So I don't know. You know what, Amy? You're probably right about that. You're probably right that it obviously needs to carry on. I think decisions have been made really quick. They obviously know more about Erica Kirk than I do. I don't know. It seems like a lot to put a new widow into the CEO seat of something like that. I mean,
No.
You can do it.
She is like the strongest human being I think I've ever seen. And by all accounts,
I think it's a lot to ask. I think it's a lot to ask of a young mother.
Nobody knew Charlie better than her. She knows everything. She knows everything that was going on. She knows everything about that company. Apparently, Charlie left journals. Like he left the 2028 budget. She has the 2028 budget. He left that, and I have to imagine this was not a decision that was made quickly or in haste. This was something that was discussed. Death threats were not new to Charlie. The fact that he could be assassinated sitting there was not something that he did not consider. So you have to think that these plans were in place long before that happened.
Yeah, I that's probably true. I don't know what they would have, maybe it's in documentation in the event of an untimely death. I want Erica Kirk to, I don't know. But I think it's a lot. She's a mother with 2 kids under the age of 3. And just watched her husband be slaughtered for the world to see. And in a week's time, you put her in that position. I don't think there would have been anything wrong with taking a beat, putting an interim in, put Andrew or whatever, his executive producer, just like, hey, I'll hold the fort down. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows it better than her. And honestly, the only way that you get through tragedy is by keeping yourself busy and by dedicating yourself to the cause and raising your kids and in normal circumstances going to work, so for her, that's what this is. Like, what's she going to do? Sit around and cry constantly and watch the video? I mean, you have to do something,
I know.
There's from everything I've seen of her, she's not some little flower that's just going to wilt away.
Charlie had a way, though. Charlie had a way of making a tent big enough for everybody, whether they believed in Jesus as their Lord and Savior or not. And Charlie could have really productive conversations. Would you like me to do this with secular reasoning or non-secular reasoning? And he could do it and be like, it was one thing that leapt out of me last night is like, there was more of a religious overtone to everything. And that's kind of the vibe I get from Erica Kirk. No, I know it was a memorial. Yes. I don't know. There was something different about.
I don't think Erica is going to be the next Charlie Kirk. I don't think just because she's CEO means she's going to be she's going to be putting herself in front of audience. Like that's not what's going to happen here. But yeah, she's in charge of the organization and, I mean, that was his funeral. It's going to be, around religion. It's going to be very Christian.
Yeah, it's going to be very Christian centric. And I never got that vibe from his videos. Like he would walk that path and it was very clear where he stood. No question about it. But there was also no judgment from him. And I don't know. I don't know if it's going to have, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Were you disappointed that Sinclair scrapped the Charlie Kirk tribute?
No, I don't get disappointed or offended at what media companies do. It literally doesn't affect me because I can see all of the tributes that I want on my phone or on the internet.
Fair enough.
So I don't give a shit about any of those.
They got overwhelming amount of threats. And so they were worried about their affiliate stations around their country getting bombed, shot up because, the peaceful left yet again. Peaceful Left Strikes Again. And there was one affiliate ABC station in Sacramento that got shot up. And that guy was, thank God, he was released. They grabbed him and he was released. I hear the FBI has picked him up again.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And it's for something like interrupting a broadcast. It's for something crazy like interrupting FCC broadcast, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what the FBI is talking about?
Yeah, that's what he was arrested on, which is insane.
I would think if I don't know, our new studio at Riff had bulletproof glass around the whole thing. Mine and Mark's office, Drew and Mike's studio that had glass all the way around it looking outside, all bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
So, but I like to think that if someone did show up and try and pump a bunch of bullets into it, they'd be arrested and not released that same afternoon. I don't know. Crazy. I thought that's how things would work. I would think if I did that or if you did that, went up to someone you didn't like or you didn't hold their same beliefs, that if you pumped multiple rounds into their building, that would be met with some sort of consequence. I don't know.
In California, though?
It did. Yeah, Sacramento. Yep.
Well, Mike, my food just got delivered, and I'm starting to get a little bit hangry. But I do have to mention something.
Yes, please. I'm sorry. I've made you wait this long.
Fucking tuned out. Oh, don't mention it at the beginning of the show. So now here we are, an hour and 20 minutes in, Mike.
Who cares? Go ahead. Just mention the shit and go eat.
I joke. I kid. Karen Reed was back in court today, Mike.
Ooh. Was she arrested on murder charges again?
She was not. No, that would be considered double jeopardy at this point. But,
triple jeopardy, in my opinion.
Yeah, triple jeopardy.
What do I know?
John O'Keefe's family is suing her, Mike, for intentional infliction of emotional distress and wrongful death.
Wait. Sorry.
What?
Greg Henson's talking about your uniform. Sorry.
Oh.
He thinks you look hot, by the way.
Thanks. It's the blush I put on before. You should have seen me beforehand, Greg.
She was hideous.
It wasn't a good situation.
She was hideous before. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
John O'Keefe's parents and brother and niece are suing Karen for intentional infliction of emotional distress and wrongful death.
Wait a minute. Suing her? As far as I know, she hasn't even made a public statement.
Well,
she hasn't said shit.
Well, she's been on shows and stuff, but I mean, I guess think of it as the equivalent of how the Goldmans sued OJ afterwards. But
they sued for wrongful death. They sued for wrongful death.
That's one of the things that they're suing Karen Reed for too.
Oh, okay.
Wrongful death and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Oh, because of John's death. I thought you were talking about because of. What is that?
It's because they had to see his body in the hospital.
Okay, I hope that's not a precedent going forward, that every time you have to see a loved one that's died, that you can then sue for emotional harm.
Right. Karen's defense team was like, yeah, that's for like when you're there, like on the scene and you see something horrible happen. Like if they were there on the scene and they saw Karen hit John and then drive away, that would qualify, but not, you're not there. And then hours later you see your loved one at the hospital.
Like Charlie Kirk's family being at the scene. That's just
normal life.
Shot.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're back in court today, and this is something it's just gonna drag on and on. And God bless this judge today. He was like, I really encourage the parties to try to reach an agreement. And it's like, my guy, that ain't happening. If you think that these two sides are going to come to any type of an agreement, that's not going to happen. But Karen Reed's attorneys announced today in court that they will be countersuing the Massachusetts State Police and Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, Yuri Buchanan, and Michael Proctor. They're all sergeants with the Massachusetts State Police. So she's suing the police and those individuals in their individual capacity. And she's suing Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and the town of Canton. She's suing them all. Bring them all in for violating her civil rights and for I think he mentioned conspiracy.
But they were all talking.
They all just fucking lied.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you
So it's going to be
know more
super
about this than anyone I know. What do you think? Do you think she's got a case there? Can you take the emotion out of it? Do you think
Yeah, I do think she had. I think she especially has a case. I think it'll be interesting with the police, just given the stuff that happened, what they didn't do, how she was treated compared to everybody else. I think there's a legitimate claim there. I don't know necessarily. It'll be interesting to see if she has a claim against the people who were in the house. Because essentially, though, the people who were in the house are her defense to this civil lawsuit. Her defense is, I didn't do it, they did it. So it's going to be super interesting. And I have to imagine that all of those parties were just shitting their pants today watching that, going, fuck.
I don't know why they wouldn't just try to walk away quietly and just, because the fact is it's a miracle that they're not going, well, if it wasn't Karen Reed and two courts said it wasn't, then who was it? Because someone did that. So
the family
or anyone in that house.
Oh, they think Karen did it.
I don't care. But
they think Karen did it.
Yeah, but that probably didn't happen. So if that's the case, then those people in that house have some questions to answer. I would think they would just be like, they didn't find her guilty, but
I think
they're not looking anywhere else.
I think there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that didn't come in the criminal trial that will 100% come in the civil trial. And I think that's stuff that John's family doesn't even know about yet. And so it will be interesting when John's family, as part of discovery, gets the group chat between all the McAlberts, and they're going to see how they talked about John. And they're going to go, that's vastly different from what they were talking to me about at the exact same. I have to imagine that they're going to get, oh, wait a second. Maybe Karen didn't actually do this. It'll be, I can't wait, because obviously the cunty judge is gone, and it's civil. And so, more,
and the cops fired.
And everything comes in, unlike criminal where comes in. So, that's the up there.
All right. Well, when is the next update coming, do you think?
I think that their next trial date or next update is in November. But this probably won't even go to trial, if it does, until 2027.
Really? Yeah. Pick it up in a couple of years. So. Jesus. All right. Well, go eat, Ames. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Go
Lions.
Go Lions. I know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Good to have him playing on Monday night. We'll see.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Have a great, enjoy the Lions game and Ravens if you're watching it. And I'll see